Imagine this, it's Monday. A few days later, you're done working on your agency already. You think it's a discipline problem, so you tell yourself, I'm not built for this, or what is everybody else doing that I'm not doing? The truth is, it's not discipline, it's not willpower, and it's not you. There are 3 specific reasons why you can't stay consistent when you're working on your business or something. And once you see them, everything will finally make sense to you. It's Monday. It's Monday. Monday. So it's Monday, you're fired up. You just made your Instantly account. You started running ads. You're sending out about 1,000 cold emails. Nobody replies. Wednesday, you're still going strong. You're waiting on replies, but nothing's happening. You send out maybe like 200, 300 more. Friday, you see no results. You're exhausted. So you tell yourself, I'll just catch up with you over the weekend. I really did need this clipboard also. And by next Monday, you're not even working on your business anymore. You've ghosted it. And then you go on YouTube and you see everybody, all these young people, all these young cats posting about how I just made $100,000 on YouTube in 1 month, how I just made 10K on YouTube doing this strategy. And then you wonder, what am I missing? And then you're lost in the cycle of course. Then you try something, it doesn't work for like 3 weeks. You go back to YouTube again, and you keep getting stuck in that cycle. You need to get out of that cycle, guys. Because let me tell you this, guys, consistency isn't a trait. It's a system. And your system is broken in 3 ways. And once you fix these 3 things, your system will be way better and you'll be able to do a lot more work. So reason number 1 is you're measuring the wrong thing. Hopefully you guys can see this. You're measuring the wrong thing. I wrote it quickly, so it looks way better in person. I don't know why it looks so bad reversed, but you're measuring the wrong thing. Reason number 1. So here's an example. You send out like 1,000 emails. You watch like 4 hours worth of YouTube videos and you do a little work. And then after that day, you think, I wonder how close I am to 10,000 now. You can't answer though. That's the wrong scoreboard. Out of those 1,000 emails, you only get 2 replies. And then you think to yourself, it's not working. You post 7 YouTube videos, you put in all your work, you get 10 views. It's not working. But never once did you actually think, did I book a call from those emails? What were some replies that people were getting that were constant? And from those replies that I did get, did I maybe move them towards a payment or a sales call? You guys are trying to count reps when you should be counting results. Wins or losses. Results is what you need to be keeping track of, because if you just count reps, you're gonna gas out very quickly because you're gonna have to throw a lot of things at the wall before you do finally get something going. Reason number 2 is you're just building a vacuum, guys. What that means is you're just creating without any feedback, and you're not doing anything when you're analytics. You're just sending stuff out or just doing stuff without looking at results first before you judge. So think about it like this. Pretty much you spend maybe 2 weeks working on a website that nobody's probably going to look at until like your first 2 or 3 months. So you just wasted time doing that. Then you spend like a whole 5 hours building an offer. Looking up Alex Hormozi offers. Then after 3 days, you finally start writing your emails and things like that, your email copy. And then after a week, you launch. You just spent a whole week preparing for your launch. And guess what happens, guys? You get no results. So then you're assuming it's the wrong offer. Maybe it's the wrong offer. Maybe I'm just doing the wrong business model. So let's hit YouTube. Let's hit YouTube and let's start over. The real issue is you never talked to your market. You didn't notice any signals. You never noticed, and these are just exaggerations of like what's keeping you up at night in that niche. What have you tried already? And what would people, if you were them, what would they actually pay for? A lot of you guys are just guessing in the dark. You have no real path, or you have no real proof that you're actually on the right path right now. A lot of what you guys are doing is essentially going to the gym and never actually looking in the mirror. Imagine that. How do you know you're actually getting stronger if you're not actually looking in the mirror to see your progress? How do you know you're losing? How do you know you're losing weight if you never get on the scale to know what you're doing is working or what it's not working? If you're getting results, if you're losing weight, then that means you're going to keep on doing what you need to do. If you're not getting results, then you probably need to change your workout. Feedback essentially is what's going to create consistency for you guys. You need to attempt and try to build with that market and see what's working and what's not working before you switch offers or jump to a new niche. And also, the reason number 3 is, let me write this down, guys. Let me write this down. I don't like to edit my videos like that. I like to use my clipboard. Your reason number 3 is you're doing everything. You don't need to do that, guys. It's not going to work. A lot of people think that doing more things equals success when that's not the right thing. The time that you work, truthfully, doesn't matter. I know you'll go on YouTube, you'll see a lot of people talking about their 4-hour workday, and then you'll see some people talking about how I work 8 hours a day on my business. The time that doesn't really matter. What matters is what you're doing with your time. That's really the main thing. So think about it like this. You send out 100 LinkedIn emails, you send out 1,000 cold emails, and this is all in 1 week. You do all of this. You try and make a YouTube video. You try and build a website. You to do SEO for your website. This is all in 1 week. Remember this. And then after you've done all of that, you see no results. You're 100% going to lose confidence because that's just how humans are naturally designed. Pretty much, your brain can't sustain max effort on every single thing if you don't know what you're doing and you're not getting any positive feedback. If you're not getting any feedback or negative feedback, actually no, I wouldn't even say negative. If you're not getting any feedback, your brain won't be able to stick with that forever. So this is the solution, guys. These are the 3 things that I did to fix all of that. Thing number 1 is you need to try and have real conversations with real people. If your goal, if whatever you do doesn't lead to you having a conversation that week, then it probably isn't that important. And when I say conversations, I don't mean actual physical sales calls. That's one conversation that you should be aiming for. But if it's not, you're not sending a cold email, or you're not doing a cold call, or you're maybe not in somebody's DMs, then it's probably useless. You make an email, trust me, you can build the greatest email in the world, but that's not going to get you to $10K a month, or that's not going to get you any clients right off the bat. And the thing is, if you are getting replies, positive or negative replies actually don't matter. They're actually really good because then you know what people in your market do or they do not like. That's why I say negative replies or positive replies are really good, negative or positive. The reason that you need to actually try and have conversations with people is because it does 3 things. It helps you learn the problems, it helps you test your offer, and it helps you build relationships with other people also. And that's ultimately what you're going to need to grow your business is relationships. The second thing you need to do is you need to fix that vacuum that you guys are stuck in. You need to get that thing out of your mind where no validation, where you're not getting any success. You guys need to get out of that cycle of no validation equals no success. The second thing I want you guys to start doing, every Sunday I want you to track 3 things. You need to write all the conversations you had, whether that be, if you're doing cold emailing, pretty much what I do is I make a list with all the emails I sent, had the number of emails I sent, the positive replies, the negative replies, something else. Oh, and how many emails went into spam. All that stuff is stuff you need to track, because if you're not tracking that, if I'm not tracking my spam rate, then I'm gonna be going through domains and emails or domains and mailboxes like every 2 or 3 weeks. These are things you need to track, because if I have a high spam rate on Instantly, that means that literally is telling me I'm doing something wrong. Either I don't have my domain set up the right way, I'm using a lot of spam words, or people are just sending me the spam. But that direct observation is what's going to help you guys move your agency forward. You need to actually look at your results and make changes off of that. You don't need to mark. Don't look at the clock. It doesn't matter. I know I tell you guys to do a 90-minute deep work, but that's just to get work done. But ultimately, the amount of time, if you don't finish that, if you don't finish that 90-minute deep session, ultimately it doesn't matter if you got your work done. If you can't work for 90 minutes, that doesn't matter. If you got your work done within that 90 minutes, that's all that truthfully matters. If you're getting a lot of positive replies, if your numbers are going up, that means you're doing things right, and you need to scale that. If your numbers are going wrong, or you're not getting any replies or numbers or leads or anything, that means that something's going wrong. You need to try and figure out what you're doing that's causing you to not get the results you're looking for. And you need to try and keep it simple enough that you're going to do it on even your most tired days. For all you guys that work 9 to 5, it sounds very simple, doesn't it? But that's the thing, it is simple. Because the truth is, the fact of the matter is, complexity is what got you guys stuck in the first place, because you're overthinking it. Keeping things simple is what's gonna free you. Everybody that's making money on the online spaces went through this phase before. You're not alone. They just didn't quit, and they figured it out. They took the results that they're getting, positive or negative, and actually tried to figure it out. And your system, what you're doing, doesn't actually have to be perfect. I know you see a lot of people online that make it seem like everything is peachy and perfect, but it really doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough for you. It needs to be something that you can do every single day. Because if you do something enough and you're actually somewhat at the bare minimum doing it right, you're going to get results sooner or later. You just have to stick with that and build a system. So just a quick recap. You don't need to measure effort. You need to measure progress and results. Thing number 2 is, Everything you need to do is based off results, not just random thinking. Results is all you need to base all of your assumptions off of. And don't do everything at once. You need to split some things up because you're gonna overload yourself and you can't do everything at once. And as soon as you overload yourself and things get too hard and you're not making any money, you're gonna give up on your business. And we don't want that. Like I said, I've been running my business, my agency for about a year now. And so I just try and make these videos to help some of the younger people out, not in age, but in their business age. I just try and help some of you guys out. I know I'm not perfect. I'm still learning a lot. I still have a lot to learn. But if you guys would like to know just a few mistakes that I made early on in my agency, there'll be a video right here. You guys should watch that. And this will help you guys, some of you newer guys, avoid a lot of the stuff that I was doing in my agency. So go check that out. And if you guys have anything you want to talk about in the description about this video, anything you agree or disagree with, just let me know.